try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger, a brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
Love.
Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. This was amazing. This was dreamy. This was simple. This was so real.
Yeah.
This is you listening to John Lennon for the first time, Max. I know that for the fact. So what do you have to say first up?
It sounded dreamy.
It is.
I wonder what was his influence when he created this song.
Okay.
Well, is that related to the other Lenin, right?
Which Lennon?
The communist Lenin?
No, this is not Lenin. It's Lennon.
Yeah, but I'm saying if he's related because his song
Yeah.
sounds very communist,
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
a
right.
bubbly and jovial way to explain communism.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Your take on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they had Beatles or John Lennon. Maybe they were reading stuff. They
Yeah,
could have,
yeah.
and this could have been influenced by that. But Lennon was no good for the world.
Yeah.
At least the part that he came from.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. What are your thoughts on these lines, Kirti and Max?
For me, it was poetic to the core. I loved poetry, the way it's written, and I loved more the way it is sung by John Lennon. It was from pure heart that it was sung. I like that childlike innocence that came through his voice while singing a pure song like this. I wouldn't want to tarnish it with communism or any other philosophy or uh, ideology because it felt like it was a honest, deeply heartfelt rendition by John Lennon. It could have been anything that could have influenced him, but it felt right where the way it was done. I like the music being kept so subdued that it was his voice,
Yeah, yeah.
it was the poem or the lines of the song that were the highlight. It was simple. making the song, of course, there has to be a thought process behind it. Him having the rock and roll background and everything. This is no rock song. This is just like simple poems
Yeah.
a singer is singing, and it is so impactful. The impact is in its simplicity. That is the best way to describe it. I loved every line that is written. I'm sure it was written by him, and he's talking about keeping the world simple. There are so many ways that we find so many
Yeah, he says it in the
references.
second verse. Imagine all the people living for today. That's where the first verse ends. Then it goes on to imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do.
Yeah.
Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. So he kind of suggests that if there are countries, if there is religion, there's more war than peace.
Yeah, there are
So
more
if
ways
you
to divide
remove all
people.
these boundaries and if you remove religion out of the picture, perhaps people will be living in peace. Now this is his imagination,
His imagination.
his dreams.
Yeah.
Who knows whether it will actually come true if you don't have religion and countries?
Hmm.
Who knows what people will always find something to fight for.
There's always be greed.
Yeah, there'll always be greed, there'll always be jealousy, there'll always be hatred. So, yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that even if you remove these things, countries and religion,
Countries are a new
there will be
concept.
things.
Countries are a very
You
recent
must,
concept.
you must say, I'm a dreamer. He says that in the chorus. But I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
I hope someday you'll join us and the world will be as one. So he's hoping that people will join this imagination movement of his. He's hoping, he knows he's a dreamer, but he hopes he's not the only one, or he thinks he's not the only one. And he hopes that a lot of people will join him someday and the world will be as one.
Also, something that struck me while listening to the song, knowing a little bit background of the artists from the UK and the Beatles, and knowing their popularity and knowing the kind of lifestyle that they were enjoying at the time when they were at their during their Who's Who day. So that time, I don't know how would somebody come down so low to create something like this. It's
This was-
difficult to come
this was
from
after
the
that. It was
level
after
of
that.
high and mighty to come down to this level and
Yeah.
see things and give that kind of perspective. So it's hard. And kudos to John Lennon for understanding that, because most of the musicians, they sing songs the way we like to listen to, and a common man loves to connect with it or reason with it, but at the same time the contradiction is in their lifestyle and is in the everything that they are personally. So none of it is them personally and the life that they lead. It's all of that is only for us when we are receiving a song and we see all of that and we connect with it. But at the same time, on their personal level, they don't really connect with that, or they don't really live that.
Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. So the lofty expectations, to say the least. No hoarding, no buying things, no possessing things. Just sharing. Everyone sharing all of the world and living in harmony, so to speak. So the very lofty expectations. Even when I read through the lines today, actually very closely for the first time, I feel it's a little bit far-fetched dream of John Lennon. Maybe even if things were this way, there were things that might have been this way when time. I'm assuming when the world started, things were this way, But then ultimately, the world has been designed in such a manner that it's if you have one loaf of bread, it's never enough for 10 people. So you need 10 loaves of bread. And who's going to make those 10 loaves of bread? And how is that person going to, if that person actually makes 10 loaves of bread for 10 people, obviously that person expects a little bit more in return for that hard work and effort in giving 10 loaves of bread to 10 people. So is that person just going to be happy giving 10 loaves of bread to 10 people, working very hard, and not just 10 people? Maybe when the world multiplies, 100 people, 1,000 people, one baker making 100 loaves of bread, 1,000 loaves of bread, is that person going to be happy? What about that baker who has to literally slog his bottoms off to get that 1,000 loaves of bread, so that everyone is happy and everyone has the same things and equal things? Max is absolutely right. I never looked at it from the communist manifesto kind of viewpoint, but it seems like it's a communist manifesto going on with John Lennon. and it seems very strong, his words, that he wants
Right.
everything to be equal for everybody, sharing, no boundaries, everything. Everyone should have the same thing, same food, no rich, no poor, perhaps. It's although it's not mentioned here, no rich and poor, but he wants everyone to have the same things, the whole world to be equal, no boundaries, no religion, nothing. Everyone to be basically clones of another person. So everyone is like brothers and sisters and all clones of each other. They're not no different from each other.
Nobody has extra talents or skills.
He's assuming that they will all be the same and they will not fight and they will not have hatred towards each other. They will not have greed because they are all the same. How that is going to ever happen, I don't know. But then it's a good dream. It's a good dream. You today you look at the world in 2025. You feel yes, maybe it would be a good dream, but I don't think it's realistic. Quite honestly, I don't want to be the one baker who's going to have to build
Work all the time.
work night and day to bake 1,000 loaves of bread for 1,000 people. And
All idle people.
yeah, and then of course I'll need my cheese from someone else. So I don't want the cheese maker to literally slog his bottoms out to make cheese for 1,000 people. How is that going to work? At the end of the day, there is going to be disharmony. There's going to be inequality of labor.
Yeah.
Wait,
How's it all going to work
Savio,
out?
Savio, wait. I have to add something to it. Also, I understand the baker and I understand the cheese maker and I understand the world, sharing all the world and imagine all the people and brotherhood of man. And then there may be certain East India companies and certain those kind of characters who will come and loot everything.
Already there. The irony and the
So
joke.
while you were sharing, they
Yeah,
grabbed
the
everything
irony
away.
and joke of it all is that this artist comes from a country who's well
Looted
known
everyone.
for robbing other countries, for torturing, enslaving, killing them. Well known for doing all that. So it's an irony that this artist is from the very same country, which is perhaps one of the biggest countries in the world, which are hypocritical and have done exactly the same things, opposite of whatever was mentioned in this song.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have imagined differently. They have imagined the opposite of John Lennon. And they actually did that for over 100 years, 100, 200 years
300
maybe.
years.
Literally enslaving, colonizing the world, looting,
You have too much of it.
raping, torturing people. And they literally did that. So maybe John Lennon is saying, imagine a world where, it's unlike the UK. Let's imagine a world exactly the opposite of what the UK does. Or the UK did.
But his imagination was a little too late. His imagination was actually reality
It's
300
very
years
easy.
ago.
It's very easy for someone to come from one of those countries and sing like that and talk about all these things. Very, very easy. They say, I don't think that way. I don't agree with whatever my country did. But you're from that same country. Your fathers, your grandfathers obviously believed in those same morals and they supported it. And they lived there and died there probably.
And you are also still reaping the rewards of it.
Yeah, till today.
Yeah,
probably.
because you wouldn't be John Lennon.
Not
or you
John
wouldn't-
Lennon maybe,
no,
but
I'm not
everyone
talking
else
about
connected
one
to John
individual.
Lennon.
I'm not talking about one individual, but I'm talking about every artist, everything that happens that always gets a pedestal treatment in the world because you have had that fortune that you have built on. You have been built on. There's a lot of music around the world, but all of those musicians don't have that pedestal or don't have that privilege to be heard by the masses around the world or to be taken seriously because they don't come with the backing and the clout that you come with. So that still haunts a lot of part of the world, and I like Imagine, and I didn't want to get to that because by the end of it, it became so much of pure
And also
imagination.
the name of John Lennon
Winston.
is Winston. And we all know one Winston who really messed up things for a lot of people.
Millions,
Yeah.
to say the least. Anyway, since it was a kind of a politically charged song, so don't blame us for getting that.
No, it's a reality. What we speak about is real honesty. We definitely want to give the other side. It all seems very rosy when we heard this. It does sound nice. To be honest, it does sound nice. It sounds good on the ears. It's very calming. It's very poetic. And it's very John Lennon is literally portraying himself as a saint here.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what I was trying to say, that if it came from an artist who was never known and who never lived that, the thing, popularity and
Can you
everything,
imagine
then it would have been more
Can you imagine
imaginable.
an artist from Africa?
Yeah, he always
Singing
may be
like that?
singing, he may be singing that way. He may be singing
Never
that,
would have
but we
even,
don't
we
hear.
wouldn't have heard. Maybe
Yeah.
this song has been
Every
inspired
day he's
from
been
an
singing.
African
Yeah.
artist. It sounds that way. But, or an Asian artist.
Hmm.
But will that Asian or African artist get the attention
You remember
that
there was,
possibly this song may have gotten?
you
when
remember
it
there was
was
this
released?
song 7 Seconds by
Yeah.
this Tunisian artist.
Yeah.
I forget.
Yeah, one of
With
the artists was
S.
Naina Cherry and
S is the
yeah.
I forget.
Naina Cherry is a female artist. in
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's a duet.
So Senegal, maybe not Tunisia, Senegal.
No,
because they
no,
are
not
from-
sure.
Yeah, but they sing songs like that, and you never heard that artist after that. So I can imagine what he's singing. He believes in it, and he made that song, and that's what his lifestyle could be.
Yeah, he's no John Lennon.
Yeah, he's no John Lennon. Yeah, exactly. That's
John Winston Lennon.
Lennon. He is him.
That's it for this one, but it's a good song. It's good to
It's-
listen
it
to,
is,
and
it is.
definitely when there are times of war, when there's terror attacks, like some particular fanatical religion poking needles into 150 odd girls at a festival,
Music
festival, and somewhere in Europe, Destination X, who knows? It doesn't matter whether it's in France or Germany or wherever else. You definitely want to listen to songs like that and hope that one day there will be no religion
No needles
and
poking.
no needles poking in people's backsides or
Very
other
good.
places.